Here I am in the top-level directory of the Ruby Calisthenics homework, and you'll notice three important files or directories here. Spec is where test cases go, and in this case we've provided them for you. In the future you'll be writing them yourself. Lib is where the code to be tested goes. In other words, in a homework assignment, this is where your code is going to go. And a file called .RSpec, which you can look at the contents of on your own time, but its presence here is important to tell Autotest that we're using RSpec to test our code. Now over here, I've got one of the spec files that's in the spec subdirectory. This is the dessert spec file, and you'll notice pending true at the top of this describe block that pretty much includes all of the tests for dessert. Pending true means don't actually run these tests yet, skip over them because the code that is supposed to implement them is not even in place. And indeed, if we go run Autotest, it'll fire up, it'll look at all of the spec files, and you can see that all of the test cases are printed out in yellow. Yellow means pending or test not yet implemented. Suppose I now go to delete pending true. Two things to notice. I'm going to delete it, I'm going to save the file, and as soon as I save the file, Autotest woke up and it ran all those tests again, and now they're actually failing. Why? Because we took out the pending, so now it's actually trying to run these test cases, and there's no code to make them pass. So let's fix that. Here I've got the dessert.rb file that's in the lib directory. This is the starting point that we gave you for your own code, and I'm going to put some code in here to make a few of these test cases pass. Now again, notice that as soon as I save this file, Autotest is going to wake up, rerun all these tests, and now we actually see that we have a handful of them passing in green. That's because the code that I inserted makes some of the tests pass. So to reiterate, whenever we change either a spec file or a code file under lib, Autotest will try to rerun any of the specs that might have been affected. And this is the cycle that we want you to start getting into. Have Autotest always running and incrementally backfill the code necessary to get the test to pass.